Unlike other countries, in America, there is a compulsory military prescription. Everybody has to do service for 2 years. So the American campuses were full of military recruitment. And the students asked the question, why should we fight for this country? For unjust causes. In a faraway Southeast Asia, a small country like Vietnam, if America can aggress, you know the history of Vietnam. They fought against the French imperialism, got independence. Ho Chi Minh became the president of the Vietnam. But Americans didn't like a communist government in Vietnam. So they captured the south part of the Vietnam and set up a puppet regime and then gave full support. And America became a policeman. American military might became the police of the world. There was nobody to question. It was the students who questioned it. They said, we will not serve this army. We will not serve this marine. We will not fight unjust wars. We will not fight against the poor people. We will not fight against the third world colonies which are rising for their own freedom. And the American students came to the streets. Paris students came to the street. Indian students also came to the streets. They did not come for their own personal petty demands, exam reform, semester reform. They came for a world cause, a world without war, a world where America is not a dominant country, a world where there will be a true equality of status between nations. A country which is a poor country and a rich country, there is no difference. And this thought brought the students to the streets, and we were part of the student movement. We went to the streets and sang, Hamara naam, tumhara naam, sabko naam, Vietnam. That was our slogan. We did not fight for any local demands. When we were politicized, our politicization is not at the cost of our studies. We were also good in our studies. We were also attending campus. But nevertheless, we felt that our life is linked to the life of the common people. I became a worker in a trade union, working class I was serving, as a student also. Not as if only we go to the college and come back. We have a social duty. It is in that sense we became political. We also became part of the society. There cannot be a campus without a social cause. There cannot be a campus which does not hear the social unrest in this country. There cannot be a campus which is de-linked from the common people's society. There are hundreds of struggles we conducted. There is too little time to list all of them. Suffice to say that our constitution was based upon true equality, fraternity and liberty. These are the three words which is there in our constitution. And when 1973, when we were all students of law college, we were also taught constitution. We were taught the freedom of expression. We were taught the right to liberty under Article 21. But when you go outside, there was a national emergency. Every leader was put inside, whether right, left, center, whether it is Advani or any Marxist leader, they were all inside only. What is the crime committed by them? No crime. What is the charge against them? A district collector felt they should not be kept outside. It's a lawless law. It's a detention without trial. No court tried their offences. They were inside jail. And when we went to court, the court said, we cannot hear these matters because fundamental rights were suspended. Along with the emergency, fundamental rights were suspended. And Supreme Court ruled, court cannot hear these cases. Now we had a first time we found everything is beautifully written in the Constitution, but in practice, they are not there in existence. Once our teacher were teaching us liberty, Article 21, liberty cannot be deprived except by procedure established by law. Article says so. Now, people are being there inside, no charges, no trial, no court can get them out, even if it is a false case. Now, this dichotomy, what we learn and what is outside, this is the first eye-opener to all of us. To look into the question between theory and practice, what is the gap? Why there is a gap? We have written a very beautiful constitution. We praise Ambedkar as the father of the constitution. And then what happens outside is totally opposite. There is a right of expression, but meetings are banned. There is a liberty, but you are put inside. Then where do we complain? Do we go to the court? Courts are closed for such cases. Now this is the dilemma that made us to understand that what is taught in the campus is only the theory written on paper. To make it a reality, you got to get to the streets. There is nothing like a beautifully written constitution, a beautifully written law will by itself work. It has to be worked by the people who are concerned for the working of the constitution. Now, if it is in this context, after 2 years, the emergency went and there was an election, the new governments and all that. We won't go into the political party, but we will go to the fundamental question. Now, when the new government came, did they remove all the black provisions that have been made? Did they ever guarantee that at no point of time the fundamental rights will ever be suspended? At no point of time court will be closed from hearing the basic rights of the people? It never happened. Governments after government, it suits them to continue the status quo. It suits them to maintain the old archaic laws by which they can suppress their political enemies, and therefore it continued. And it is one such thing that the police force which was created during the British period was also maintaining law and order. What is law and order? A government which came by force. The British government did not come by any election. They came by force. They came through the army. They came through the political deal. They came through by making people to fight against one another. And then having obtained political power, they want to retain the power, and therefore there is a police force. Even today, the police force in this country were created in the 18th century, not 19th or 20th century or 21st century. And what is the basic duty? Law and order. Anybody protests, just take care of them. What about the crimes? What about, how do you find out these crimes? Will they investigate the crime? Will the police investigate every crime after registering FIR? That was not necessary. The British found very easy method by which they said some tribes in India are criminal tribes. We will declare them as criminal tribes, and there is a Criminal Tribes Act of 1897 was brought in. What does the act say? There are certain communities which cannot be corrected, which cannot be cured. Their only habit is their birth, their inherent quality is to steal, is to commit crimes. Then how to put out those crimes? Once you declare somebody as a criminal tribe, every eligible male of 16 years will have to register with the police station with their fingerprint, with their body mark, with their height. Now once it is registered in the police station, if there is a crime in that area, they will have tom-tom saying there is a crime in the area, please surrender. If within 24 hours the tribes whose names are registered in the police station do not surrender, the person who is absent, he is a culprit, he is a guilty person. And what happens? Should you require any evidence? Should you require any documents? Nothing is required. The police stations became courts. The inspectors became judges. What is the punishment they will give? Any punishment they can give. The man who is absenting, he is a criminal. That is how they were finding all crimes. Therefore, whole lot of communities declared as a criminal tribe were punished. Now the Congress party, the Communist party demanded this act should be repealed. Most ignominious article, the most detestable law in this world, a law against humanity, a law against all civilization. They said, please repeal this act. But the British was not willing. It was repealed much later. Then these communities were called as DNT, denotified tribe. I have become denotified tribe, no problem, no. For the ordinary police, they are still the criminal tribes. So if this Jai Bhim, if you see, it starts with the first scene where people are coming out of jail. To come out of jail, a court must have held you guilty or court must have held you innocent, then you are coming out of jail. Policemen were watching. Then they say, all Yurulas stand there, all Voddas stand there, all Koravas stand there, all Malayar, Chettiar, Naidus come this side. There is a caste segregation. For what purpose? They will go back again to the jail with some unresolved crimes. This story of Rajakeeyam, he was a very innocent person. He just makes out a living by selling some false hair, that wig. And during agriculture season time, they work as a agriculture laborer. They are a nomadic tribe. They belong to Korawa community. And then he lives one family in that village, he and his wife. And there is a theft in the village. And police knew who has stolen the goods, because police gets a share in the booty. But then there is a pressure from outside to resolve the crime to the inspector, saying that what happened to that rice mill owner's stolen property. Then they find out we must resolve means get hold of somebody, make them to agree to the mistake or the crime. And then this Rajakeeyam was caught because he was the only Korawa in that village. And then he was taken to the station, tortured. How many tortures are there? Officially there are 120 methods of torture. Written down book. Police knew how to torture a person coming out. You can still torture people. For what purpose? Make them to agree to a crime which they never committed. If they agree to the crime, what happens? They can close the file and then enjoy the booty which they have already shared. Unfortunately, Rajakeeyam did not agree for a crime which he never committed. His nephews were also brought in. Now, they were also beaten to pulp. And then, when he did not agree, the beating increased, the torture increased. Please understand, this is not the only question of torture. There have been hundreds and hundreds of events. I remember in 1987, I came to Hyderabad along with Dr. Balagopal. We met the then Chief Minister, N.T. Ramarao. We gave a petition. There are 89 encounter deaths in this Andhra Pradesh, United Andhra Pradesh. Why don't you make an inquiry? And he took the petition and said, all right, let me see. Like everybody else says, let me see. We do not know what happened. But the encounters continued. It is not in Rajakeeyam case, even before and after. There are hundreds of encounters, hundreds of police station torches. And Rajakeeyam died. When he died in the presence of his nephews, what did the police do? How to find out whether he is dead or not? If you call a doctor, he'll hold your pulse, say, then they'll take your eyelid, put the torture and see any movements of your pupil, then you'll say dead. But then the police have a very crude method. They went and purchased chili powder from a provision shop. They won't purchase, they took it. Because police never pays for whatever they buy. They took it from the neighboring shop and put it on the eyes of Rajakeeyam. And the eyelid did not move, and the policeman declared he is dead, he is gone. Then what about the two eyewitnesses? They were afraid. They were not afraid of the death. They were afraid of two people who have seen all this. Therefore they called these two boys and said, whatever happened to your uncle will happen to you. Just go somewhere else. Just disappear yourself. Nowhere to be seen again. If you are seen again, you will go in the same path of your uncle. Mortally afraid of their life, they ran off to faraway Kerala, working in some remote village as a domestic help, not even communicating with their people in the Tamil Nadu. Now, the wife who comes to police station every day, one day the police said, go and make some food and bring it. And then this Sengeni, her original name is Parvati in the real life, she brings food. Then the policeman says, leave it and go. Next day she comes and sees the vessels are there, the food is there. She asked them, why he has not eaten? You are asking us why your husband has not eaten? Get out. And then she goes away. Third day they go and tell her, your husband is missing, gone away. Then what will a woman do? A woman who's got no stake in the village, a woman does not know of any other community people in the village, a people who don't have any stake or any hut or any residing place in the village, people who move about like nomads. She went and complained. Husband was not coming. I was going to a teachers' meeting in a nearby place. Somebody in the village told her, there is a lawyer coming from Chennai addressing some meeting, we'll go see him. That is how she came to me. Pure ad hoc, pure accident. After the meeting, she told me, my husband is missing, please help me. I was in a hurry to rush to the bus stand. I told her, you come to Chennai, we'll discuss. And she came to Chennai on the weekend. All that she could see was the husband went to the station, not found. Then we filed a habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is one of the finest remedy. We still continue to hold the constitution, but the economic freedom and the social freedom are still elusive. We are still struggling to achieve certain amount of social equality. Now in constitution, many of you are not students of constitution, but nothing prevents you from reading the constitution, understanding the constitution, going through the debates.